Good evening, Bean Boys! And girls. And all the other shit. How are we doing tonight? It's the fucking third episode of the How to Cheat a Geoguessr podcast. It's lovely to have you all here. We are, in fact, covering Oceania. Did you know? Well, now you know. It's going to take around 15 minutes, as it's about two separate places. And we'll be done. So nice quick one tonight. Over and done with in and out, you know, shake it all about. And we're sorted. So yeah, that's it. I'm just going to unmute the guys and introduce my wonderful co-hosts. Right. So obviously, with it being the Geoguessr podcast, there's absolutely no point in just having a small, smooth-brained idiot such as myself. So we do have co-hosting, as always, the lovely Nighty. Say hello.
Hey guys and girls.
Okay. And on top of Nighty, not physically, but I don't even know why I said on top there. Our other co-host is the lovely Radu.
Yo, what's up?
Yo, it is. Right. We're just going to do, before we go any further, let's just do a little bit of a sound check. I think I need to turn you guys up, I imagine. So can I get like a testing from both of you?
Testing.
Testing.
Right, we're getting... you're quiet for me, Nighty, so I imagine you're very, very quiet for the guys. I've got my broadcasting settings turned up quite loud now. So Nighty, coming again?
Test.
Is that a little bit better for Nighty? Too loud? Just good? Good, okay. Radu, if you could give us one more.
Testing.
Yeah, that seems right on my end. Okay.
Right.
Sweet. Well, we should be good to go then. Even better. Well, yeah. Hi guys, welcome. It's nice to see all the usual friendly faces. Appreciate all the support. We did take a week off, mainly due to real life commitments. We're all very busy guys, and there's just a lot going on. Really, there's a lot that makes up the podcast. Takes some time to put together. So we took a week, and we're bringing Oceania this time around. Definitely, obviously, looking towards other continents in the future, but we thought this was a good one to cover off now. So, firstly, thank you to Severe for the T1 sub. Appreciate it, mate. All the support goes a long way on the channel. So I guess, let's open it up about a little, kind of just a generic conversation about Oceania. Because I think, and me being one of these people, there is a little bit of confusion about exactly what Oceania is, what it covers, and I mean, what does it even mean? Do you guys know much more about the naming scheme, at least?
Well, as the name already says, Oceania is because of the Pacific Ocean. All the islands in the Pacific Ocean that are not being part of Asia are part of Australia and Oceania.
Right. Okay. I mean, we've also thank you, Apple, for answering the question in the chat there. That, I mean, you might as well have applied to be on if you're going to do that. Thanks. So I mean, yeah, Oceania it covers a lot more than I initially thought. Right. It's not just New Zealand and Australia. I think what do you guys feel the general consensus is about? You know, you're playing a diverse world, you're playing improved world, whatever it might be. I mean, when Oceania comes up, do you think it's something that do you guys struggle with? Is it something that most people have an issue with, or is it, you know, do you think there's certain areas of it that are difficult? What's your general feel towards it?
I think that it just takes a little bit of experience with them, and then it starts to get a lot easier. So I think that a lot of people don't know how to tell apart some of the stuff like Australia, New Zealand, and then obviously like Guam, Mariana Islands, American Samoa, those. But meta stuff, it gets a lot easier to do.
Exactly, exactly. It comes with experience, and because it doesn't come up quite often, you either have to look it up for yourself, how it looks like there, or it comes up, and then you know what's up in those places of the earth. But once you get the gist of it, it's it's just as easy as differentiating, I don't know, once you knew it, New Zealand from Great Britain.
Well, there you go. So I've actually got our location set out here. If you give it just a second, I'll probably need to make my fat head a little bit smaller. There we go. It does take a little second to load up when I'm doing the old screen sharing. But yeah, here we are. These are the locations that we are reviewing today. As you can see, this actually does cover quite a stretch. Quite a few different little countries, plenty of different islands in there. You know, in terms of the coverage in general, I think we all know about the coverage in Australia being quite, memey, with it being, a rather large country. I mean, in terms of the islands, what sort of coverage are we expecting? That is it official coverage? Is it, you know, I'm confused. What do you know? Why some islands are covered and some aren't? Is there any particular information you can share there?
I think either it's just not worth the cost because you need to ship or fly a car to those islands and it's not cheap,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
or or just their laws. I have no idea.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, it's interesting because it's like, okay, but why does American Samoa have coverage, but not say Fiji? I mean, there's got to be some, or Tonga. Um,
I
Sponsored
think
by
it has to
USA.
do. Yeah, I think it has to do with the fact that they're territories of the U.S. Not really sure why they did Vanuatu and Pitcairn though.
okay. Well, if there's anyone in the chat who wants to go do some Ari over in Fiji, be my guest. We'll take a look when you come back, if you make it back. So I mean, there is obviously the two big ones being Australia and New Zealand. But obviously there is a lot more to take on board with the little islands and stuff. So actually not quite as easy as it necessarily sounds on the face of it when you say Oceania. It's like, oh, it's just two countries. Well, in Geoguessr, there's plenty of those little islands that have coverage, which is, I think, when they pop up, and we've all seen this in before in games. I've been the victim of it plenty of times. It comes up, all of a sudden you've got your top four players grabbing a 4.8, 4.9, 5k sometimes on some little fucking island. And then the rest of us, poor people, are just randomly clicking in the ocean, hoping for some result. So it can make a big difference when we're actually playing the games through. So I think it's well worth learning. There's definitely some interesting bits of meta and also bits of knowledge to pick up, which we'll be going through today. So I mean, first and foremost, should we start with we'll start with our first location. I will say this time around, we took a slightly different approach. Obviously, last episode for South America, you may remember, we went through slides. And we very much had very specific information for each country. I think the big difference is that obviously in one big connected continent like South America, there's very small nuances between each country. Obviously, some bigger nuances there. Bigger nuances doesn't even make sense, but there's some bigger differences between countries. But there's a lot of nuance in there as well. Where once you've got a general descriptors for each country, you should be able to land a guess there. So we're very much going to be focusing more on the locations which have been hand picked by our legendary players here, organically found hand-reared locations, so they are top quality. So let's take a look at our first location. So this is the Perth area. Talk me through it, boys. What are we looking at? What's going on in Perth?
Yeah, Perth area. It's pretty flat, except there are some mountains near the coast. So like right in that corner of the country in the southwest. And there's a lot of eucalyptus trees. It's those that are like sticking up with like the leaves up up, and then the whitish bark. And then what I usually associate with this Western Australia area is the reddish orangish soil that they have along the side of the road.
Yeah, that orange is pretty distinct.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. And the eucalyptus trees are something those god awful koala bears eat. Am I right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Horrible, dirty things. Riddled with syphilis. Little fact there before you start fancying a koala bear. So just to give you an idea of the actual area of this location, obviously Perth over here, a little bit more out in the sticks here, but it gives you a good idea of
Yeah,
whereabouts.
you can kind of see the mountains there along the coast.
Sweet, brilliant. Right, well that's the Perth area. So we're going to move on to the northwest area. So it's got some similar themes going on here. Obviously, we're seeing some more of this reddish soil, but the actual landscape is looking quite a bit different.
Yeah, it's much more desert-like, shrubbish, but still has that distinct red color. The vegetation is much more scarce, and yeah, that's
Yeah.
most likely a sign of a northwestern West Australia coastal road.
Okay. So as coming from a neek here, this is the exact kind of location that I would open up and immediately second guess. Wait, this it feels like Australia, but this could be South Africa, right? Is there anything specifically here that would make you go, well, it isn't South Africa because? What would be some of those details you'd be looking out for?
There are three things that I would say. First of all, the bollards there, which are specific to Australia, they have the white with some red on them. Yeah. And then the road has white lines on the outside instead of yellow, which you would find in South Africa. And
Yeah.
also they have that like little like tick marks like on them, which I've never seen in South Africa before, so only in
Yeah,
Australia.
probably kind of like rumble strips in the US.
Yeah, that is quite interesting, isn't it? Which would make sense because I guess you're driving for quite long distances in Australia, so the more prominent rumble strips because you're more likely, I guess, to fall asleep while traveling. I don't know. That would be my theory, at least. Okay, well, interesting. So, yeah, a couple of actual factors there. You can immediately say, well, South Africa. You can bin that off, and make a more confident guess in Australia. Let's just take a quick look about where that actual location was taken from. Obviously, said the northwest. So obviously this was our last location down here, north, west, and yeah, quite coastal as you rightly said. Right, so we're going to go look at the Darwin area next. Again, this one again quite different. Some similarities, but again quite different visually, which goes to show obviously just the sheer size of the bloody place. So, yeah, what's sticking out to you here?
A landscape which I can describe as once you've seen one, you've seen all. That reddish soil, a bit darker as in Western Australia, but still very red. Along those tropical trees, and just a general feel. You see also a few eucalyptus trees sprinkled in there, in that whole forested area.
Yeah, but very few eucalyptus. I'd say mostly these other trees with like the
other
black bark.
trees.
Yeah, and they have this black bark, which is kind of strange.
Yeah,
it's the mixture of a bright green along with that distinct red.
Yeah,
that's the Darwin area.
Yeah,
it's a strange combination, I guess. There's a lot of contrast going on, and you kind of got these slightly patchy kind of grasses, which obviously kind of keeps that soil poking through or whatever, which is quite interesting as well. So yeah, a bit more of a tropical theme here. Definitely slightly
still dry, but you can see that it gets No, nonetheless, quite a bit of precipitation.
Yes. What is this? What is this? Is this like a turnip thing? Wait, no, not no, termite.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they have all sorts of weird insects and snakes and stuff in Australia. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, fuck that. I've got a best friend from Australia, and he is an absolute snake. So that makes a lot of sense. So that was actually called the Rum Jungle, which is an interesting name for a location.
Next to Bachelor.
Next to Bachelor, yeah, Jesus. This is like the Chad area of Australia. So yeah, right at the top here, and obviously here is Darwin, just on the coast here as well. So
The biggest city in northern Australia.
fact, near Humpty Doo, which I mean you can't make some of these places up. So yeah, that was like a yellow road. Called what in Old Rum Jungle. Interesting. Let's move on to the next area. So this one's been described as the centre area, which might give away some clues as to where it actually is. So yeah, talk us through it, boys. What we seeing?
Yeah, this area is definitely the most dry area. I would say like around Alice Springs and like maybe a little to the south of it, like going towards that lake area, which really isn't lakes. It's just like dry
Salt pan, actually.
salt pan, yeah. But yeah, there's some hills around the Alice Springs area, but other than that, it's completely flat. This is where Ayers Rock or Uluru is, if you've heard of that. So yeah, just kind of think that sort of landscape. It's just dry and red.
Yeah, I didn't. For some reason, I associate this more with Australia than I guess the other ones that we've seen, which is just more deserty and warm looking. I guess just well, sand equals warm. I guess in my brain. Yeah, I think it's obviously the kind of red rocks and again this like red soil is quite distinctive. I'm just trying to work out that is a piece of driftwood or is that a dead animal?
Dead animals that are dried
I
out.
don't know.
I think they're both dried out animals.
Interesting.
I have no idea.
So I think we've had if I'm right in thinking Kyle's question in the chat is what's the real difference here between this and Eswatini? I'm assuming that's what his question is. But you know,
At first, the Generation 4 camera, then road lines. You don't see the typical Eswatini white Google car, and the red is a different shade. It's way more dry. Eswatini has more mountain, more rolling hills and trees. So there's that.
okay. I did get the question wrong, but good fact anyway. And obviously, yeah, good spot on the Gen 4, which is interesting. Um, he meant Southwest Australia. Is there any big
This is
distinctions?
the desert, and Southwest Australia is pretty lush and green, except south of Perth.
Okay.
South of Perth.
I hope that answered your question, Kyle. Sorry for getting it wrong in the first instance. Yeah, Kyle, it was not Anik, it was me. But this is an education for me as much as any of you fuckers in the chat. So that was one of the locations. We've got a second location here from a similar area. So we'll just quickly take a look at where this is. So here we are. It's on Ilpapa Swamp Wildlife Protected Area. If you want to take a look there, you got the Alice Springs Desert Park there. There's an airport there, but obviously pretty central here. Yeah, you know, and obviously as you can see on the map, it's quite deserty looking on the map itself as well. So this is another location that you guys sent over for the same element here. So what's going on with this highway? What's special about this?
This is the famous Stewart Highway, connecting South Australia with the Northern Territory. You can say Adelaide to Darwin, and it's just the most deserty looking north-south empty road in Australia. It's pretty distinct with those small trees, shrubs, bushes, and the general deserty feel.
Yeah, the road is in very good condition. But yeah, it's definitely got that kind of deserty feel to it. I have noticed I mean, in my eyes, I would say this is kind of a little bit of a rift thing going on here. But is this just kind of a general camera glitch? Nothing too specific meta wise there, or
Nothing too specific. Those small glitches you can have in any country.
sweet.
It could be that in the next frame there's no rift.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So yeah.
Right, let's take a look at this this fat ass road. Jesus. Okay. So I imagine it's this bad boy that just runs all the way down here.
Straight through the country, yeah.
Right. And this the whole road has coverage?
The whole road, yeah.
Ah, right. So that now I'm starting to understand a bit more when you said if it it's going to likely be this road if you're kind of hitting those different features. Okay, interesting. That's something I didn't consider, but especially from the coverage angle. So that's actually really helpful, I think. Okay, cool. Moving on then. We've got a South Australia location coming up next. Let me clear down some of these tabs. Right. So, South Australia, what are we saying, boys?
Yeah, here's Australia kind of starts to look different. See, here we don't have the red sand on the side of the road. Now it's white sand. So like me and Nighty kind of joke about the white sand meta being South Australia, so
Yeah.
around this sort of area. And again, there's a lot of eucalyptus trees, which you can see. It's kind of grassy plains, occasionally some hills around here, but yeah, kind of also dry looking.
Yeah, very dry looking, but quite different to what we've seen before. And you're right in saying I think the big indicator of that is the color of the kind of the sand and the dirt. Then, I know a couple of guys are talking about the car meta from the last one. Is there anything to note here? I know we actually can't see any of the vehicle that we're in. So is this a kind of this location's more to be focusing on what you can see around you?
Yeah, in Australia, in Gen 3, it's white car long antenna, but this is Gen 4, so it doesn't really matter, you can't tell. And same with Gen 2 and Gen 1, you can't tell. So that only applies to Gen 3.
Okay, I was gonna say it does seem quite pleasant this location. Right, let's take a look at the map itself then. So South Australia, it was. There we go. Yeah, and obviously, on the map labelled very much as South Australia. This was a little bit inland from the coast, and I guess, I mean, is it kind of and this is just me spitballing here, but I imagine as you come in from the coast, that kind of sandy, the soil kind of gradients into the darker colours as you move further north, and that would
Exactly.
be okay.
Yeah,
It gets redder and redder the more north you go.
yeah.
Okay, right, interesting. Cool. So that was a bit of South Australia. So we're going to have a look at the Adelaide area. Adelaide. Adelaide. Yes. I should actually do the accent for the whole thing really because it's quite good. So again, we've got some more of this light soil. So yeah, talk me through it, boys.
Yeah, it's as the former location, pretty white sand, or let's say soil, and pretty grassy, probably deforested for human use. That is in South Australia, closer to the human population, let's say.
Okay. Seems like this. Obviously, we've got some fencing going on here. Is it? I guess that obviously you mentioned
It's
deforesting.
not typical to any state or territory in Australia.
Okay, I think. Well, I mean, fencing, yeah, maybe not. But is this kind of area? I was going to say, is this more obviously with the deforestation? Is it more common to see kind of farmland around here, or little farms and that sort of thing? I know we've got
It
a couple of little buildings
depends on
off
the
here.
quality. There's a farm, yeah, but it could also be just ground for for animals to grass on. But it depends on the season if you see fields, agriculture, or just some overgrown shrubs where animals can feed on.
Makes sense. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Not too dissimilar from the last one. So we've got a bit of an antenna going on here. Anything to say on that one?
Yep,
Yeah, this
it's
is
the same as mentioned before. Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
Okay. Sweet. Just a quick shout out to Jaywall. 4-month streak on tier 1 sub. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. He says boar bunts, baby boggers, which is particularly impressive that he's so fluent in Beanish as well.
Legend.
So this one, let's just take a quick look at Ridley Road. So here's obviously Adelaide. Kind of hop, skip, and a jump over from our last location, and not quite obviously that close to the city, but you're still going to find more population and as you said, closer to people, which you can pick up little signs of as you're guessing. Does Kangaroo Island have coverage, or is this still considered enemy territory in Australia?
They have Gen 1 and Gen 2 cameras.
Wow, that is quite brave of them to go over there. So this, I just want to get you the guys tuning into the podcast an idea of some of the notes that we're looking at here. The next note doesn't have a link to a location. It just says Western NSW and Queensland. Honestly, you are fucked here. Like, I have no idea how to distinguish this huge area. Just pray you get 2,000 points.
It all comes down to luck. If you play movie challenges, sometimes you can get on a strip of road that has no exit on either way. You're just stuck in that stretch of road. It's so sparse, the coverage, but in general, what I've seen, and this just applies to Generation 1 cameras, the darker red the soil is, the more north you are. If you see a few hills and maybe light orangey color, you're probably in New South Wales. If the red is almost hurting your eyes, you're in Queensland. But don't quote me on that. That's just my experience on those sparsely covered roads.
I mean, it's not often the best players in the game say you're fucked in a particular location. So I think it does go to show that this is a particularly difficult place to guess. Just obviously due to some of the factors you listed off. I mean, RC, do you have any little random tidbits that you could share that might help just a tiny bit?
Nope, none whatsoever, honestly.
Okay, then.
Just look up what roads are covered, what the direction of those roads are, and guess by memory.
Yeah, that is it is a strategy. It's not an easy one, and if you've got that sort of inclination about you, I mean, good luck to yourselves. But yeah, not an easy one to pick up a bunch of points on. But knowing the other areas, knowing the other landscapes and stuff, it can certainly help you not guess in those areas. So 2,000 points is better than 200 points that you might have got otherwise. So always something, always narrowing down where you might be is always going to help you get something. Cool. So we'll move on from the fucked location to Western and Central Victoria. So I think we've got some Generation 2, if I'm not mistaken. What can we say about this one?
Yeah, it is Gen 2. So this is like I would say it's the primary farmland area of Australia. It's pretty flat, maybe occasional rolling hills, but other than that, it's just grassland. Some nicer looking trees here. But yeah, still some eucalyptus as well. And I'd say there isn't really a soil meta for this area. I think just kind of go off of the grassiness.
Yeah, you
Just
can see the grass
yeah,
also getting a bit more green, so a bit more rain is always also down
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, so the grass is
Just
a little
greener
bit
grass
longer
than in
as
South
well, yeah.
Australia.
And you said so about rolling hills. So I mean, if you, I guess if you load up Geoguessr, he's going to show up, or are we talking about something else?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, good to know. And obviously, this quite a. I mean, the visibility of the stars in this location is incredible. You can see all sorts. Oh, there's a shooting star here. So guys, if you can see a space rainbow, I think that's a spaceship. If you can see any of these details, essentially the Aurora Borealis is up here somewhere if you look for long enough. Really incredible sightseeing element of Australia there. I know, incredible. Right, moving on from that. So you guys are gonna have to just. I read this when we were doing the planning, and putting together a document, and it didn't mean anything to me. So guys, please talk me through the Great Dividing Range, starting off with Canberra. What the hell are you talking about?
The Great Dividing Range is simply explained the Eastern Mountain Range going down from Queensland towards towards Victoria, where also the highest mountain can be found, and stretching down under the sea towards Tasmania.
Okay, interesting.
It's just a huge mountain range on the eastern side of the country, similar to Brazil.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
but what's interesting about the Great Dividing Range is like it is a really long mountain range. I think it's one of the longest in the world, like after the Andes and the Rockies, I think.
Huh.
Yeah.
But it's really not that like the mountains aren't that big. They mostly look, yeah, like this, just kind of, I wouldn't say rolling hills, maybe a bit bigger, but
Yeah.
they're not like super tall mountains.
Okay.
Yeah, they just get tall the further south you go. But
Interesting.
even that's not really tall in comparison to other mountain ranges.
Okay, let's actually take a look at this on the map itself.
But in general, you can say the more mountainous it is, the more southwest in Australia it is.
Okay, interesting. So I guess
Southeast, sorry.
you're starting to see some of the elevation on the map here, which is interesting. And then obviously
Yeah,
we've got another location.
that mountain over there, Mount Kosciuszko. I'm not exactly sure how to
I
pronounce it,
think
but
Mount Kosciuszko.
yeah, that's the tallest mountain in Australia. So this is the highest elevation that
Okay.
you get.
I mean, it's quite a unique looking landscape. When you start to look at from up here, obviously not something you're gonna find on GeoGuessr, but it's pretty individual in what it looks like. You can't really compare it to too much else. So we've got the other part
It looked a little like Scotland on the
in
from
like
the pictures.
a weird kind of way, doesn't it? Yeah. Maybe not
Yeah.
quite as lush, obviously, but yeah, in a strange roundabout way. You're right. So this was the other location for the dividing range. So this one is described as being by Brisbane. I
Yeah,
mean,
you can
it's looking
see
different.
it's a bit more tropical in the sense that it's still in the mountains, so it's drier than in the south, where the former location was.
Yeah,
So actually, you can always also say the drier the mountainous area is, the more north you are.
drier, more north. Okay. For a second, I was thinking, do you know what? I'd probably drop a Columbia on this one.
Not with the ball up there visible.
Well, maybe not for
Yeah,
you.
but
Okay, interesting. So, yeah, and just to kind of give it a little bit more context, So we come up here. Here's Brisbane. And yeah, again we've got some of this range here. Yeah, pretty interesting location, and yeah, fair bit different to the last one we looked at. And then we've also got a bonus picture here. Nino bonus pick. This is this. Why is this a bonus picture, and why do I see yellow?
Yeah, very rarely in Australia do you get completely yellow. So like you'd find in Chile as well. And it's because this is right by that mountain, and this is in that national park. So this area it does occasionally snow. So that's why they have
Yeah.
these lines.
You
So-
can see it by the name Alpine Way. There are also a few ski resorts up there in the mountains. And there's as well a bit of snowy coverage in that general area. So don't be surprised when you get snowy Australia. Just be prepared for it.
That is particularly interesting. Yeah, and obviously, if you didn't know, something I learned is that yellow lines are there to stand out in the snow. That's pretty much what they're there to do. Obviously, white lines getting covered up. So, yeah, that's why there is some of it in Chile, obviously, to account for some of the more areas that get snow, I guess. Just gonna put a quick pause. I've got I don't know if it's a bug or whatever, but Twitch is telling me that it's trying to connect to chat. My chat doesn't seem to be loading. Is anyone else experiencing a problem?
No, the chat works perfectly for me.
Yeah, working for me.
Okay. I've refreshed. The stream seems to be fine, but I might not be able to see chat, so I'll leave you guys to keep an eye on that. Sorry if I miss anything in the chat, guys. It's just not working for me right this second.
Simraj asked, apart from bollards, how would you say this was Aussie and not South Africa? You mean the yellow line location or the tropical mountain location? This one, yellow lines.
Yeah, I guess would it be the yellow center lines of because you wouldn't get those in.
Definitely, you won't ever get yellow center lines in South Africa, but just the general look of the trees, it's way more kind of temperate. In spite,
And
while
the
South Africa just
eucalyptus
have,
trees.
Yeah, the eucalyptus
I
meta
think at
seems to be
higher
big.
elevation eucalyptus trees aren't there, but you can see more temperate trees as opposed to South Africa's desert trees and pine fields.
Yeah. So it seems like I get again this learning those kind of smaller nuances is actually going to save you a lot of time thinking about the two areas. So not necessarily always going to be a case of being able to grab a specific piece of meta information like the road lines or anything like that. So, this is kind of area where, again, one of the reasons why we didn't necessarily produce a slideshow of loads of different signs and all the rest of it is because it's a lot more difficult to capture, some of these
The
vegetations and stuff.
diversity.
Yeah, hugely. And obviously, just taking a look on the map here, so our location was not too far away from my Colombia looking location that I suggested. And yeah, the yellow lines there being particularly interesting as obviously as we're kind of going through these this mountain pass. I don't know how you describe that, but yeah, there you go. Right, going to move on then. That was the bonus pick. Very nice bonus. It's certainly given me one. We're going to be looking at the northeast area. Townsville stroke Cairns or Cairns? I'm sure I'm mispronouncing
Cairns,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think Cairns.
the northern coverage of the Australian east coast.
And I think again this
Yeah.
is a shift in the visuals. So yeah, talk me through it.
Yeah, this area is very tropical. Again, some tall mountains. This is like the northern end of the Great Dividing Range. So there are some tall mountains here. It's a lot of agriculture, but it's like different from the other parts of Australia. It's like
Mm.
more crops here. And there are some palms as well if you look around. I think there was one to the north. So if you see palms, you should probably go in this area.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, palms and crop fields.
Yeah.
That main road has Gen 4 coverage, a pretty distinct one, I should say, because of that green as well.
Yeah. It's incredibly vibrant. This location, obviously, we've got some bollards and stuff with this being particularly main road. I think there's some more palm trees in the background there. So that's a railroad, isn't it? Is there anything to say about the railroad in conjunction with coverage on Geoguessr? Is it something that you see quite regularly, or is it something that might help you make a guess?
Yeah, I'd say there's quite a lot of roads in Australia that have railroads along them. I
Yeah,
guess,
especially
I
the
don't
main
know if,
covered roads in between all those vast nothingness. They have a
yeah,
railroad along the main road.
yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Right, we'll just zoom out, take a look at the map. Sorry, guys, I still can't see the chat. So appreciate RC and Nighty obviously keeping an eye on things. Not sure what's going on with Twitch, but it likes to troll every now and then. So obviously Queensland, we said the location was. So some of that lushness definitely I think is going to be explained by the proximity to the coast, I imagine. And obviously that's actually quite close to a national park as well. I don't think I've ever clicked up here when playing Geoguessr. I'm a bit of a hedger when it comes to Australia, so I guess this is a location where you could certainly make up some points over, if you're playing against me, which maybe there's not a chance of losing, but yeah, pretty.
Definitely. When you see that coverage, you click either near Cairns or near Townsville, and it will always give you 4,000 points around that.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So be more ballsy with your guesses. Hopefully, after watching the podcast. Cairns, as politics says, my chat seems to have reconnected. So welcome back, you Neeks. I was actually enjoying not seeing what you had to say for once, but there we go. Cool. So I think we're going over to the lovely, wonderful area of Waswania or Basmania. Or Tasmania, as it's also known. This is Cressy in Tasmania. Again, kind of different in a weird way. I mean, talk me through it.
No, you got this one.
Perfect. Yeah, it's just cold grassland, you can say. You just have a few trees here and there. Also keep in mind, a lot of Tasmania just have Generation 2 coverage, unlike the rest of Australia. Yeah, that's Gen 2. Yeah, it just looks cold. It feels cold. Sometimes with nicer coverage, you can see a bit of vineyards along the roads, especially signs towards vineyards. But other than that, if it looks cold, if it looks a bit more mountainous than normal Australia, it should be Tasmania.
Interesting. I mean, for you, that description is quite interesting because when you mention cold, I guess in a way it does feel more cold. Doesn't feel quite as lush.
Cold for Australia,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, yeah, in the context of that area of the world, 100%. But yeah, compared to locations we've been looking at, definitely has that kind of feel to it. I think the coverage there a little bit overcast as well, which probably helps define that feeling a little bit. But as you're saying, obviously, this is it's a decent jump off from the mainland. So that was lovely, Tassie. Again, is it coverage in Tasmania? This is something that you need to be aware of, or is it pretty covered?
It's just that Tasmania in general has more Generation 2, but it's such a small state. You could easily find the same coverage of Generation 2 in Victoria, for example.
Right.
But Gen 2 is more ubiquitous in Tasmania than anywhere else, yeah.
Sweet.
Except Kangaroo Island, of course.
Except Kangaroo Island.
The wonderful Kangaroo Island.
Right. Well, that was Australia, mate. And you mean moving on to the Kiwis? That's that right? I think. Yeah. So we can over to New Zealand to start with. I think before we look at a particular location as image supplied here, looking at the topography of New Zealand being kind of a cornerstone of making guesses here, and I think New Zealand for most people is an easy, I wouldn't say an easy guess, because it can be, you can confuse it with a couple of different areas. I don't always get it, but certainly, if you do spot it straight off the bat, which you can do, having an idea of actually where you are in terms of the elevation of its very mountainous country, this is gonna help a decent amount. I mean, is there anything to add on to that, guys? Do you think about the kind of the topography knowledge?
Yeah, the interesting thing about these mountains is that they actually cause a rain shadow effect, like not quite as intense as in South America, as like you don't really have deserts in this far south in New Zealand, but um, basically, as a general rule of thumb, just on the western side of the mountains, it's a lot more lush. Like especially on that coast where you can see like the little bits of green, and then on the eastern side where it's like a lot flatter, it's also green, but in some areas it does look a little more dry, Mediterranean
Yeah,
feeling
and all
almost.
the lush fields are man-made irrigated, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, that rain shadow meme coming back from the South America episode. I'm still not quite sure I understand it personally, but there we go. That's just me being smooth brain. I mean, this is the kind of information that turns you from a neek to a bean, really.
Just remember, wet air comes from the winds from one side, mostly where the mountains are, and on the other side, because the mountains are so high, it's just dry winds down.
There you go. Science with 90 there. So we're going to take a look at some locations. So this one being described as typical West Coast South Island look. Talk me through it, guys. There's a few different things I think to touch on here.
Yeah, again, just kind of lush, very green, a lot more plants, especially on that hill than you would see on the eastern side of the island, I'd say. A couple of ferns you can see around there, so yeah, keep an eye out for the ferns because there's a lot of ferns in New Zealand. We'll talk about this as well. But yeah, just overall more lush.
Okay. Yeah, I think for me, noticeably, there's this idea. I don't know how you describe it, but like more. Yeah, this is definitely not how you describe it, but more like European grass. Like it's just kind of like this grass, how I know grass, which is kind of like stumpy and green, as opposed to Australia, where we've seen a lot more of that kind of long flowing. Not as nearly as lush as you said. So I think that's immediately you kind of got that distinctive, as Giovanni says, grassy grass look there. Anything to mention about the yellow lines, the bollards, any of these kind of bits of information?
Well, the bollard is, and you stare at that picture perfectly for both sides. You can see a red strip on top, on the top part. That kind of hugs around on the back part. That's typically New Zealandish. You
So is that like a
can't
little bit of
see
a
any other bollard. You see the tiny bits of red on the backside,
yeah.
but just it's like the reds are hugging on the back, but they don't touch each
Yeah.
other.
I'm wondering what the bollard did wrong to get a red backside, but let's not focus too much on that. So we've got the yellow road line. I mean, is this something that's throughout New Zealand? Is this something, what's going on with the road lines here?
Yeah, this could be used to kind of tell that you're in New Zealand because there's not many countries that have these. We talked about Argentina and Uruguay having them. I think Finland also has them. Can't really think of anywhere else. But yeah, New Zealand does have them as well, so can use those to tell that you're in New Zealand as well.
Definitely, but they are not on every road. The yellow middle line is not on every road.
Yeah.
It's just to indicate people cannot overtake on that part because towards the north you can see there are normal dashed white lines in the middle.
Yeah.
Which means the not overtaking zone is over.
Okay. Yeah. So I think in the UK we do double white lines. So I think it's a different way of handling that. So that's I wouldn't have necessarily thought that was what it was for. So that's quite interesting, really. Cool. Moving on to our next typical Central South Island look. Quite a bit different. So yeah, go on, take it away.
It's a location where the rain shadow effect comes in. It's still Southern Island, but a bit more north, pretty central, where the highest peaks are on the western side, and east of those mountains, you see there's not much rain. It should be, I think, even a summer or autumn picture.
March 2020, it says, yeah.
Oh, March is it? Doesn't matter. The trees are still green, but you see there's not much rain there.
Yeah, definitely.
Even
dry
in summer, you don't get that much more green, and in winter those trees are just barren.
Yeah, makes sense.
But the general grass area and the mountains look the same year round.
Yeah, interesting. This is kind of that grass I was referencing. Kind of dead looking, I guess, but a lot more wispy, not quite as grassy grass as you'd say. Another example of that hugging red bollard there. Yeah, interesting location. I didn't show the actual location on the map of the last one, so I'll do that very quickly. Which I believe, just to double check.
Ben, the chat is telling you that you're wrong because actually Nighty was right because in the southern hemisphere, the seasons are backwards, so March would be early fall.
No, I was just literally read out the date to you because I didn't know if you could read it on Discord. I wasn't making a judgment.
it sounded a little bit negative.
Yeah. When you say March, it's always our perception of
I do
season.
know it's reversed. No, I was just saying it's March. Like I'm reading your things, it's small. But you know what? I act fine. I'm a smooth brain. Does that make you happier? If that helps your insecurities, chat, then go for it. I'm a punching bag apparently. So we're looking at we're down here for this location. So as you said, obviously on the Southern Island. I think this was the. I'm gonna get confused if I keep doing that. So there we go. That's an example, and then we've got our first. So that was central, and then we've got a look at an East Coast, a typical East Coast location on the South Island. Very condescending. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate that. So again, a little bit. This is almost a bit of a mixture of the first location and the second location. It's kind of got a couple of elements in both. This is September. Does that help? Take it away. What are we looking at here?
It's just greener, but it's still not like as lush. There's not that many trees. Again, this is mostly the pasture area, so where you'd find the sheep in New Zealand. Yeah, there's some planted forests over there. You do see a lot of planted forests in New Zealand, but yeah,
Yeah,
not that
mostly
much
pine trees
vegetation.
for lumber.
Yeah,
Okay, that's interesting.
Also, what I've only seen in New Zealand on the side of the road, those bushy plants
Yeah,
with
I
the
was
white
looking at
top.
those.
Not those, not
Oh,
those.
wait.
Those are nearer to the road with a pointy white head. On the
What,
north.
these
Yeah,
things?
exactly. Those. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we've got.
I've only seen them in New
I
Zealand
used to have one of
so
these in my
prominently
garden.
on the side of the
those are
road.
like reeds, aren't they?
Yeah, these are well
Yeah.
good because you basically what you do is you snap them off at the bottom, and then you smack your brother with it. That's what I used to do. They're nearly as good as those ones with the sausages on. But yeah, them obviously some kind of because these are
But
kind
in
of like
Street View territory, you almost only see them in New Zealand. So close on next to the road.
okay. Yeah,
Nothing else, just those things.
it's interesting. Definitely different. Um, yeah, I mean, if you put this on a no move pan zoom without the bollard in, I would say this was like up north in the UK every day of the week. There's
Yeah, they
nothing
look
about
very
this
similar.
Could easily be.
because
Yeah.
there's a bath or something there, which that would
You
say.
just have to use the shadows, I guess, try and figure out which side the sun is.
Yeah,
Then yeah.
yeah. People saying it's Scotland, but I can't see any heroin junkies anywhere, so probably not that location. So we'll just take a quick look.
No, not Glasgow.
We'll take a quick look where that was. So obviously a little bit more coastal. Um, yeah, East Coast, as you guys rightly described. So I think they were the three locations we took a look at for the South Island. Now we're going to have a look at the Southern Alps, which have been described as beautiful towering mountains with quite a lot of lakes and fords, and it can be quite dry. I mean, this is like picturesque, right?
Um,
This is like chocolate box
it's
stuff, yeah.
it's just the east side of the mountains that are that dry.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can also see what RC said the round before, the planted trees, the pine trees, and many narrow lakes with snow-capped mountains
Yeah.
on the other side. Sometimes you get a lake where there are mountains all around.
Yeah,
Just
this
beautiful New
is
Zealand.
Yeah.
very picturesque.
Yeah, definitely. Very it's just kind of breathtaking surroundings. And I think obviously yeah, the colours here not quite as lush, a little bit more muted. I think yeah, obviously your mountains and stuff are a big giveaway. Nice looking lake. This feels quite cold, this picture. I guess it's August, so it is winter, right? That would be
Yeah.
winter, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you have to remember most of New Zealand is actually pretty cold because it is really far south, actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I guess yeah, 100%. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Obviously, just to contextualize that location, um, next to a fat lake called Lake Pukaki, which I'm sure I've pronounced wrong, and yeah, and that arrives from the Tasman River apparently. So yeah, some factoids there. Um, I mean, yeah, quite an incredible location, really. Um, yeah, I think that's a tourist kind of attraction. I knew someone was going to say it. Yeah, Lake Punani. Yeah, very well done. Congratulations for making that joke. Right, we're going to have a look at Christchurch. This has been described as, unlike my chest, extremely flat with a distinguishing factor here, the evergreen rose or pine hedge. This is quite different from what we've been looking at, especially from the last location. So yeah, I mean, is this a pine
Yeah.
hedge? What's this about?
Yeah, this is exactly what I associate with the area around Christchurch. If you remember on the map, it was that flat green area in the eastern side of the South Island. And this is just like flat farmland with these like hedgerows made out of like pine. I don't know what they are, honestly, but you just see them everywhere. Or you see rows of evergreen trees.
Is this to
So,
combat wind?
yeah.
What? I didn't quite get the point of this.
I think so. I think maybe erosion.
Okay, yeah, maybe. I guess it could be some sort of privacy measure, but it seems like I just moved, and for some reason,
Imagine Tim David's trying to climb over these.
I mean,
That would not go well.
he would be screwed if he tried to do that. I mean, but it is Tim David's. He probably has, he's probably signed this. He's probably put a little Tim David sticker on there because he's likely walked this road.
No, he cheats and goes straight through.
Oh, you went straight. Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting location. Very, very flat. I'd say this is actually Lincolnshire, if I was going to guess personally. So just to give you an idea of where this is, as you might have seen earlier on the map, this is very close to Christchurch, and I guess it is very flat in this area. I know nothing about geography, but I find that quite intriguing. You got this seems quite bumpy and mountainous. This is very mountainous here. What makes this so flat in this area? Do you guys know why, or I have
The
no
question
idea.
is why there's a peninsula on the east.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Probably
just
volcanic.
very
No idea.
strange. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
a really old volcano.
Interesting, really interesting looking country. I think, but
But
obviously,
those fields there in the Christchurch area can be so flat and vast that you don't even see the mountains to the west.
yeah, Jesus, yeah, crazy. Um, yeah, very interesting looking country for sure. Cool. I think we've got some more locations to move through. So that was the Christchurch area. So, uh, so we're looking at the next location, the North Island. This has been described as boring. Guys, please describe to me why you describe this area as boring.
It's just rolling hills everywhere. You can easily confuse it with a location in the South Island, in between the mountains and the flatlands, far in the south or in the north. But this is a location where you can see Mount Taranaki.
Yeah,
A
I'd say this
famously
is.
nice circle-shaped volcano around.
I'd say this is the only interesting thing in North Island.
Yeah, and interesting fun fact that volcano has a 6-mile radius
Jesus.
around it where no one can farm. It's just all forested. And you can see the whole forested circle, the 6 miles around, even from outer space.
Huh. That's wild. It's quite a pleasant looking mountain, really. Quite nice. I could probably. It's not too steep. I
and
reckon
the
I'd get
eruption is 90 years overdue now.
the erection. Oh, eruption. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
90 years overdue. Bloody hell, that's that blue-balled volcano there. I think I mean I could climb to the top of that. Let's be honest, hour and a half. I reckon I could get there
Yeah.
because it's not that
You
steep,
can
is it?
drive, I think, up to 2/3.
If you look at it, it's not that steep. Easy. I don't know what people go on about climbing mountains being hard and stuff. Load of bollocks, really. Right, let's actually take a look at the location. Maybe some of you know where that actually is. Let's put it onto the satellite. Will this help us understand what it? I mean, can't really, not a true look from space, I guess. But yeah, Jesus Christ, he's actually kind of scarily, perfectly circular in an odd sort of way.
Yeah, it's because it's a national park, and from 6 miles around the peak, you can't farm anything.
Yeah.
So it's the exclusion zone, and this tip of the North Island is one of the few parts where it's really flat like a pancake. So you can see where the farming ends.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Yeah. Well, I don't think I've ever looked at this. Is this another? What's going on here? Is this another volcano here? This is looking suspect. Strange.
It looks a bit mountainous, so
Yeah.
probably just an area where people can't farm.
I honestly think, but let's be honest, this is actually more likely to be a UFO crash site. If we're being honest, I think there's some ancient alien stuff going on here. Maybe you guys are interested in hiding the truth, but we will be discovering the real truth on the Aliens in New Zealand podcast, which is coming up straight after this, without the government plants on. Right, so that was the boring area of New Zealand. God, thank God that was over. The giant volcano. Moving on to the next location here, which
No,
is
this is the boring part.
I say it's all. Well, fuck me, it's all boring. No, so this is the Northwest Peninsula. I'm gonna say, apart from this rather bent tree, it is looking a little bit more boring. I guess talk me through it.
Yeah, this area is just kind of rugged, isolated. It's mostly Gen 2. There's a little bit of Gen 3 and Gen 4. There's a lot of ferns over here that you can see again. Those silver ferns is what they're called. Some planted forests again. A bit of agriculture, but it's a lot more isolated and rugged.
And not as much pine trees as in the south.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
more normal trees, more standard trees.
Yeah, makes sense. See some cows. Weird yellow bollards. Is that anything, or just very specific to this one particular location we've clicked on? These yellowy boys.
I personally have never seen them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly.
No, weird, aren't they? Might be something the farmers put in or something like that.
Maybe that area gets pretty foggy from time to time.
Yeah, could be. Good point. Wooden poles in the ground must be Colombia. Correct. So, obviously, right at the top here. Well, you obviously got Auckland there, even further north there. Yeah, pretty kind of a remote area as you kind of described it. Not too much going on here, which I guess makes it more boring, as you guys like to say it. I do want to highlight Radu in chat. I think is that an RC imposter?
Yeah, it's my imposter. I don't know.
Welcome to stream, Radu. So we've got some fern meta here to finish off New Zealand. Lovely picture here of some ferns. And we've got an up close one from Wikipedia as well. What's going on? I'm not Radu C. I've been asked a lot. I know you're not Radu C, because I'm speaking to Radu C. Thing. I mean, ferns quite an aesthetically pleasing plant. What's going on with these then?
Those are ubiquitous in New Zealand. You see them on the side of the road in every single forest. Almost everywhere those silver ferns are peeking out. And they are so ubiquitous, they are even made the national plant of New Zealand. Many sports teams have that fern as their logo, the rugby team, the football team.
Okay.
You name it.
Yeah, and also they New Zealand had a what's it called? Like they wanted to change the flag to just a black flag with a silver flare. Yeah. Don't know what happened actually. I don't know if they're going to change it or not. But I know they
I think it was dismissed. They had the option for the flag as it's now, with a red fern on the blue background, and instead of the Union Jack on top, the Cross of the South
Yeah.
on top. But they chose to keep the old flag.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. Yeah, so I mean, a nice way to finish off New Zealand. I mean, something a bit of meta you guys might not be aware of. This is all, these ferns are also known as New Zealand Kush, 420 Blaze It, my brothers. So if you're ever in New Zealand, pick yourself up, skin up, and peace out.
Dry them.
Yeah, got it. Cool weed, boys. Right, so we're moving on from New Zealand, as boring and picturesque as it is at times. We're going over to a country I didn't really expect to see on the map list, which is Hawaii, which is quite a big kind of change in location, I guess, quite far away from New Zealand. Yeah, let's chat about bloody Hawaii.
It's still in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Well, yeah, true. Still very much is in the middle of the ocean. Yeah. I mean, I think Hawaii, for me personally, as a noob, as a neek, immediately I feel it's quite distinct in what it looks like. And what's your guys' thoughts on Hawaii? Yeah.
It has a pretty red color. You can see that on almost every Hawaiian location, except in the far north in the mountains. But red soil, pretty dry landscape, inland. Coastal, it's very lush and green, but we'll come to that later. As well as the typical American style road lines, road signs. And in that location, you can also see a Hawaiian state road sign, how they look.
Okay.
In the north.
Yeah, and one more thing I wanted to add was on the road lines, they have these little light things in the center of the center lines that you see from like interval to interval. I see that a lot in Hawaii.
Okay.
I've also seen it where I live in Georgia as well, and in Florida a lot too. But I've noticed that a lot.
Their take on rumble strips.
I think it's actually reflector lights. So you can see the inside during at night.
We call them cat's eyes, I think. On our roads, and they're like little rubber things with reflectors in.
But in Hawaii, what's interesting is I've actually seen roads that just have those and don't even have like painted lines, just those.
That is interesting.
What's pretty typical about Hawaii, doesn't matter where it is, but you can see a pretty, that location isn't very good for that, but pretty much 50-50 distribution between pine trees and palm trees.
Okay.
Or normal trees.
Yeah, I guess I associate Hawaii very much with a palm tree. And that
but
feel.
There's quite a bit of special Hawaiian pine trees, I think. They're higher and they're not as wide as you see in the north.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, they do look pretty strange.
And I guess one question from me, I always have this feeling of like your cars feel a bit more American, the trucks feel a bit more American.
If everything feels American and you have red soil, it's Hawaii.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Cool location. I don't, Hawaii not the biggest place in the world, but obviously you've got the different islands here, and that was an example of Molokai. Most things are quite close to the coast, I guess, in Hawaii. Before I start saying a coastal region, right? Got another location to load up here. In all honesty, I would not be far away in a 30-second challenge with saying something like Brazil for this, if I'm being honest with myself. So talk me through, guys, what we're looking at.
Yeah, it definitely feels Brazilian. I've actually driven on this road in real life, but
Oh shit.
it's just very yeah, it's kind of strange. This is where they have a lot of their pineapple plantations and just I don't know, it's like the farmland area of Hawaii and Oahu, but I haven't really seen this anywhere else than like in the center part of Oahu. But yeah, it kind of looks like Brazil, I have to say, but it's the soil is a little bit more dark than
Mm.
what you'd see in. It's like a reddish brownish color that's like very volcanic looking. So,
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
and of course, you do have the speed limit sign.
Yeah,
So,
this definitely not something you would associate with Brazil, I guess. And there are some differences. I think that snap judgment. I think it's just something to keep in mind is check those other clues if they're available. I'm hoping I would come to my senses. Maybe we know what my guesses can sometimes look like, but yeah, pretty straightforward sort of location. Interesting that you've actually driven on this, Tim. Anything else to say here?
Probably to differentiate it from Brazil, it's just Brazil is too vast and too big to have power poles all 50
Mm,
meters.
that's interesting. Actually, I didn't even consider that.
And the Hawaiian Islands are pretty small, so they can afford it to get nice poles everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. Let's have a look at. So this is. Did you say? How do you pronounce it, RC? Well, I can't say it. How do you say it?
probably like Waialua.
Waialua. Okay. Oh, it's the
Waialua,
bloody
yeah.
Dole bananas.
Yeah, that's no pineapples.
Wait, what? Do they do
Pineapples.
pineapples as well? Oh
Yeah,
my
in
god.
Hawaii they do
Wait,
pineapples.
what's the pineapple express train? Wait, pause the podcast. What the
But
fuck have we found here? Holy shit! This is right. Did you go on this? Is this what you were driving?
I did go to the Dole Plantation place, but I did not go on the train.
What are
I
you
don't remember
doing?
this.
That's a cock up. Look, they've gone plonked an American flag on there. You can't go wrong. Pineapple Express train. That is genius. Um, wow, a coconut tree. That's what.
Yeah, there's that volcanic soil. So
This is more educational than the podcast. This is well good. And these are some coconuts. And here's Dole. Ah! Right, okay, moving on. So I just Dole triggers me because it's in bloody Monkey Ball. That's the my only association with it. So these are distinct Hawaiian hills on the coast. Um,
Yeah, that are the coastal hills in that case of Oahu. Um, all forested, pretty steep. If you watch the series like in Lost, because it was filmed there, those hills are only in Hawaii because forested, steep cliffs. Yeah, and the U.S. Army base here and
mm.
there, of course.
So it's quite common to see a lot of English signs and writing around Hawaii. Is it predominantly English?
yeah, you
It's
have to
all
remember
English.
it's a state. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a U.S. state. It's like completely assimilated.
Yeah, except road names are pretty much in Hawaiian language,
Yeah,
but you still get those typical US American green style road signs
Interesting.
all over.
Just give you an idea of where this was. Um, so over on uh, this place on the coast without
Oahu.
like. Is that how you say Wahoo?
Oahu,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. Fucking Mario named it. Right. Interesting location. Yeah, I think that when you say distinct, that I think that was the perfect word to use there. Very clear and defined looking type of hills. So, talk me through the fact that we're on Mars right now.
Yeah, this is on the main island of Hawaii. This is where the volcanoes are. So around Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea, it's like extremely high in altitude. Like considering it's an island, I think it's like 13,000 feet at its highest. So they actually have like observatories up here.
4,400 meters.
Yeah, for people who don't know it in feet. Yeah, there's some volcanic soil, definitely very volcanic here.
Yeah, Jesus.
Does look like Mars, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we got. I swear we got this in a challenge once, and I was like, "This, you have to be kidding me! Where the hell is this?" And then everyone started getting it, which just pissed me off.
It's just so distinct
Yeah.
with the soil. The only other place that I can think of that looks like this is in the Canary Islands on like Tenerife or Gran Canaria. They do have this kind of like volcanic soil
Yeah,
and like really high altitude.
They filmed
that,
like a.
That redness is just Hawaiian.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because I think they
It's
filmed.
such a nice mixture of Hawaiian soil and volcanic black rocks.
Oh, you wouldn't want to take your nan up here. She'd do a bloody ankle in. But I think in like Gran Canaria and stuff, they've they filmed stuff like Planet of the Apes and stuff because it has that kind of distinct, you know, not very Earth-like kind of landscape, which is interesting. And this has very much got a similar feel to that. So yeah,
completely
interesting. So just to kind of put that into perspective, where that is. Where the hell is Mars? Oh yeah, this thing wasn't actually working to pinpoint.
It's in the middle of the big island on the south.
So right.
Yeah, right by where it says Mauna Kea.
Yeah, Mauna Loa. It's the Mauna Loa road.
Yeah, this one's on Mauna Loa, but you can see Mauna Kea.
And there's the observatories you were talking about.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
It's because the air around here is so clear and such high altitude that you can have really good views through the telescopes.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Cool. Right, moving on to not so much a location, but I think this is just an example of an egg sign, as it appears to me. This is a state road sign.
Exactly.
Yeah, not much to say about it.
Found in Hawaii.
It's very unique looking. Not quite. It looks like a kind of the shape of a guitar pick. Yeah, Sim. Yeah, Sim said it exactly as it came into my head.
Yeah, interestingly enough, the California one looks kind of similar, but except it's green background, not black, and it also looks like a guitar pick.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Then, if you notice the fucking weird signs. Right, well, Hawaii, thank you very much. It's been lovely. We're moving on to Guam. Guam. Not a location I could point out on a map, I don't think. So I'll be going to be paying attention here.
Another American territory.
American territory.
That case, the first territory.
With the Japanese Evangelical Church of Guam there.
Guam is so much in the Western Pacific that they get a lot of Japanese and Chinese tourists, and you see a lot of signs in Chinese, in Japanese especially, all around.
Fascinating.
Except it's just the US. It's a territory of America.
Huh.
You see those pickup trucks. You see typical 3-lane standard road there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the specific meta about Guam and Northern Mariana Islands is that they have an antenna on the front of the car.
Exactly.
On
the front right.
Oh, here we go.
A long antenna.
Yeah, right. And it's straight vertical.
Not, I
So
wouldn't
yeah.
have spot. I don't know if I wasn't looking for that. I don't think I'd have spotted that just going round it. So actually, if you've got this immediate feeling of like an American territory sort of thing, just peep at the car for a second. If you do see that, that's a really good
Yeah, and
piece of
it can be
information.
hard to see even if you look for it. For
Yeah,
example, when you're in the jungle or on a side street.
yeah. Long, not particularly girthy, but an antenna's an antenna. Um, yeah, and the kind of the the different I think we've seen Chinese flare Chinese school there, some Japanese and stuff around. Quite an interesting location for sure.
Even shopping malls can be bilingual because they get so many Japanese tourists.
That's that's crazy. I think we've got a couple of examples of the antenna as well, just to really hit that home. Um, so here a little bit more distinct, I think, than the last location. It's not mixing so much with the cracks. Um, and then just to do a quick pan around.
The
Um,
general tropical island look with
yeah,
palm trees all around, with white sand near the roads.
yeah, definitely American style, like trucks and lorries and whatever you guys call them. Um, yeah, and I think there's one more for the antenna. Um, this is again. There we go with the antenna, and
Where you can see a bit of the ocean. Again, palm trees. Looks pretty tropical.
yeah,
Very well built. New roads.
yeah, yeah, quite interesting location. Um, so I'm just gonna just take a look where the actual place is. So here's Guam, and well now the context here is starting to make a lot more sense. You are very close.
Just far east of Panay.
There you go. Yeah, everyone knows Panay. So, um, yeah, very fucking out there. Okay, Guam is there. Right, I'm trying to memorize this because I don't think I've ever guessed in Guam. To my detriment, obviously. So, pretty interesting. I think we've got two more Guam locations. So we've got just a general location here. Um, Tropical, sandy, kind of has an island vibe to it. In a way, it's funny you mentioned Panay because I often associate these kind of sandy palm tree vibes sometimes with the Philippines. Um,
Yeah, but in the Philippines you get way more mountains,
mm,
so it doesn't get that islandy in a kind of way.
yeah,
Because many islands are sheltered by other islands, and here you just get a typical Pacific island where nothing's around, pretty much.
okay, interesting. Um, yeah, not too different. Our last location is the state road sign, and I guess by shield you mean the shape here.
Exactly. You can easily see Guam on it, and the blue um, literal shield is almost like their crest on their territory flags. So
Oh,
it
okay.
all comes together where you can see the flag in the background underneath the US flag on the right side.
And next to
They have a
the
small shield in it that's exactly that same
yeah,
shape.
got two US flags here. We've obviously got the Stars and Stripes and the Mackey's flag. So definitely,
Oh, cheeky.
you're flying for America there.
Yeah, that's the unofficial official American flag.
Yeah. And we have. What does this guy says? Please, when you're.
Please take me by car to Washington, D.C. Probably.
I think it's saying please. Remember, Guam has the state shield sign. Just look above me. Wow, convenient. I'm glad there's Geoguessr players out here trying to help us. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. I think that's all. That's all for Guam. Pretty interesting, distinct place. The the antenna being a piece of meta I didn't know about. Really happy to pick that up. And
I am shortly AFK.
no worries, 90, not at all. Right, well, as Mr. 90 goes on, we're going to move on to a different location. This is northern Marianas. Marianas? How would you say it, RC? Oh god, they didn't both abandon me, did we? RC? I can't... RC? Are you there?
Like, I don't know what happened.
Okay, I
My
can't...
Discord disappeared, like stopped all of a sudden.
I can't do anything, you know that. So, Northern Marianas, is that how would you say it? Marinas or Mariana?
Mariana.
Mariana. Fuck. Neither of the descriptions I said. Again, sandy, tropical-looking island. Is this pretty close to Guam?
Yeah, it's just north of Guam. Again, it looks very similar to Guam. I honestly have trouble differentiating between them. I'd say Guam maybe is a little more built up than Northern Mariana, but they're pretty much the same. They have some Japanese influence as well. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, you're still going to pick up points, I guess, if you confuse the two.
Yeah, they're not too
close.
far.
Okay.
Yeah, probably get like 4,800 if you
Right.
go one or the other.
Okay, well, that's interesting to know. And then we got a state. Is this the state road sign?
Yeah,
Yeah.
looks like a chalice or something.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
weird. It's
Kind
weird.
of strange.
Oh, it looks like a very well endowed female's midriff. some big honkers, and the 319. I mean, that's just how my brain works. I guess it also does look like a chalice, yeah, or a keyhole, as Calzone said. Yeah, very true. Yes, I mean this is going to help you distinct if you have the opportunity to see this. Obviously, you're not always going to get that with the locations, but this will help you distinct between Guam and Marianas, because of the quite unique looking signs there. Very interesting stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to associate. Booby sign actually sticks out to me, so that's going to help me guess there. Cool. I mean, that's it for there. Let's just take a quick peek on the old map. So not particularly big place. Do both islands have coverage?
Yes, I think so. But not the other one to the south.
Okay, interesting.
I'm back.
Hello, Nighty.
Oh, turns out it doesn't. Okay.
Interesting. There you go.
And I think this one doesn't either. The middle one.
Yeah. Right, we're going to move on to American Samoa, which the name I find intriguing, to say the least. But this has got some very distinctive meta involving the car. So, boys, talk me through American Samoa.
Yeah, you see the back of a black pickup truck, an American pickup truck. That is typical for American Samoa.
Okay. Nighty, just quickly, you're a lot quieter than you were before you went. Maybe you're a little bit further away from your mic.
Better now?
That's better, yeah, perfect. Cheers, mate.
Perfect. No, I just said that the back of a typical black American pickup truck can be seen. And just as well as the other islands, a typical tropical look, this time just way hillier in landscape.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also what should be mentioned is this car is just on this main island of America Samoa, where the capital is.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think the car certainly helps, and obviously just using other clues to guess. Let's just take a quick look at the location, America Samoa, which is just close to Samoa. Kind of below Hawaii here, kind of, I guess. Yeah, interesting location. That's definitely with the pickup truck there being a standout. Another example here. So this is on
That's the
that.
front of the car in the other islands of the American Samoa.
So the Manua Islands, you can actually see the front of the car and not quite the
And you
bed
have
at the back.
a quite Philippine-style concrete road along with an alley of palm trees that's east of the main island of American Samoa. That is the Manua Islands.
Yeah, this is again the black car being very distinctive. And yeah, there's Manua, there's your American Samoa. Yeah, fascinating places really. And then we got tsunami warning signs as being another little thing you can see.
Typical American Samoan sign. You can see those tsunami signs on the top, on the bottom. A single one, you can see them everywhere in American Samoa. If you don't know the car matter yet, you see such a sign, all in English, it's American Samoa.
Yeah, that's quite a distinctive sign, actually. I don't know how many locations there are in Geoguessr where there's a fuck off giant wave chasing a man up a hill. It's quite unique, yeah. Cool. I mean, that's pretty much American Samoa. Not huge amounts to say about these smaller islands, but definitely these are the kind of locations where
typical meta coverage location.
It comes up on a challenge, and everyone but the top 8 people get it, and everyone starts whinging, including me, and bashing the desk and turning the stream off and shouting at people. So yeah, good to know. Definitely good to know. Vanuatu. We've got a man here, or a woman. Maybe you can't tell from the back. I mean, this is fucking. Is this volcanic? What am I looking at?
Radu, you wanna do it?
Yeah. There's only one trekker on Vanuatu, and it's on this island of Ambrin. And it's actually really interesting because they go into the volcano if you follow the trekker coverage.
Oh shit!
And yeah, it's just I wouldn't really say there's much to tell apart. Just volcanic, maybe like these shrubs. You should be on top of a volcano, and you should be on a trekker. So yeah, just look out for that.
Okay, yeah, pretty straightforward. A tracker bis being someone walking along with a camera as opposed to being on a car, which I used to think that the different cars were called trekkers. So I used to get very confused when people said, "You're an idiot. It was a trekker." So, yeah. So fuck me. This is, I mean, slightly less than boring. I guess this is the volcano portion.
Yeah, this is crazy because this
hell.
is official. This is official coverage. They went into a
volcano.
volcano.
Literally climbing down there.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
they literally.
Look how steep it is.
Oh my god, that's wild.
If you see that volcano, you know you are in Vanuatu.
Yeah, this is incredible. I bet you can't even get down there in any particular way.
I wouldn't recommend going all the way down
You
there.
can go down there. The official coverage goes until the rim.
No, does actually.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Don't go in now.
Oh my god, makes me nervous just looking at it.
It may be tempting, but don't go into the hole.
It does look quite. It's a bit like a Tide Pod. That it looks quite tasty. Fascinating, and just to the rim. Thank you for that, J Wall, bringing the entire stream down. When this actually finally decides to load, this is Vanuatu. which is oh, Google Maps was not happy with that. There's American Samoa. There's Vanuatu. Obviously, New Zealand, Australia there. To give you an idea there. Fuck off volcano there. Crazy location. Really, really cool looking. So we're moving on to Pitcairn.
Pitcairn.
Pitcairn Island. Okay.
Famous British island.
British.
Oh god, that's I didn't recall you guys attempting an Australian accent. You went with that one, for fuck's sake. Right, talk me through what we're looking at here.
We're looking at Pitcairn Island itself. Red soil, pretty lush and flowery vegetation. You see those red plants. In the Pacific, I have only seen them in Pitcairn Island.
Okay, flower meadow.
Doesn't matter if it's in the city where the 50 people live or out there. But in general, the island is pretty mountainous, pretty steep, very lush, has those red flowers and red soil.
Okay.
Yeah, and also fun fact about Pitcairn, they actually have like problems with like incest and pedophilia stuff on the island. So
and KFC decided to put a
there's like only
there.
there's only like 50 people on the island.
Yeah, and 20 of them were convicted in Australia because of their misdoings, among others, the mayor and other officials.
Oh, so did you say so? There was an issue with paedophilia on there. So that might not be.
Was.
Oh,
yeah,
right. It's not KFC. I thought it was the chicken.
They are British, but they follow the Polynesian law by marriage. So
this
is their problem.
This is the kid fucking club, not the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Got it.
exactly.
Yeah, definitely. And then there's Andy's Cheese Pizza. If you've been on the internet long enough to get those kind of references. Feeling slightly uncomfortable now in old Pitcairn Island.
Hey, if you want to get there from London, it's just 40 or, depending on the weather, 40 or 65-hour travel.
Perfect. Right, let's take a look at the some of the other locations. So we've got the Henderson Island.
It's the second island that belongs to Pitcairn, to the Pitcairn Islands.
It's just across from Pitcairn. It's a small island with just some beach coverage, just trekker.
Yeah.
Not as Pitcairn, like Pitcairn Island itself is actually pretty covered. Like it has most of the roads covered, but this one I don't even think it's inhabited. I think
it is not inhabited.
No one lives
bird
here.
Sanctuary or something. It's your typical small Pacific island with low shrubs, a few tiny trees, and just a small hill across the whole island. Around
according to Dog Kurt, Pitcairn is COVID free, so if you want to go there,
if I
have a fun time.
I mean, look,
immigration letter is online if you want to.
I mean, there's plenty to do on this island. You've got football here, and then obviously if you are stranded and you're feeling a bit lonely, boys, I don't know. That looks quite inviting. What other activities you might want to get up to? So this is Henderson.
Whatever.
This is Henderson Island. And obviously, so here's Pitcairn, and then Henderson is over here. Not much going on this one, as you're saying.
Weirdly enough, when you zoom into the South Pacific and you see the writing Pitcairn Islands, exactly like that, you see Henderson Island on top of it.
Yeah.
And not the main island.
That's quite annoying, isn't it? Fascinating. I feel like I've learned quite a lot about about the area. And as Kyle rightly says, less paedophiles on Henderson, so it might actually be the better place to go in the end of the day. Last but not least, the classic Midway Island. Essentially just a lot of bird shit. Yeah, I mean, much else to add?
No.
No. No. Just. This is an airport, isn't it?
1 million birds on an island that is big enough for an airport and a few hangars. Yeah.
Is this that when we did that Neat Wars one time and Justine made a fucking entire map to try and beat people on, which was on this?
It was the map Bird Poop or something like that, and it was all on that island.
For fuck's sake.
It's just the abundance of birds that is so typical for Midway.
Quite interesting looking things, really.
I think every Geoguessr player can recognize that location.
Yeah, I mean, it's iconic.
I mean, there is no meta. The meta is the birds.
I love the way you said that. The birds. And there's obviously fucking right out there. What is the actual point in putting an air... Oh my god. Jesus Christ, Google Maps. You're going to give me whiplash.
In World War II, it was the perfect midpoint.
Why does it keep... Sorry.
The name Midway Island.
I want to zoom...
In between the US and America.
Why is it trolling? It's like a legal island. Right, there we go. Jesus Christ. Oh, okay, so it's like...
to the US, and they built an airport there to refuel and restock the planes flying to Japan.
That makes a lot.
Yeah, and this was actually a site of a really important World War II battle. So.
Well, yeah, when you contextualize it like that, it makes a lot of sense. I guess Hawaii was quite important in
it's
that
literally the name what it is, Midway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that is quite true. Brilliant. I mean, that comes to an end of our location reviews. Pretty interesting stuff, really. If you wanted to actually check out, I just removed the Midway Island. I actually compiled all the locations into this list here. Probably not something that you're gonna maybe use tons and tons, but if it was something you wanted to have a look over, as far as what what Oceania covers, and just as a resource to keep handy, there you go. All those lists that all those locations are saved in that list with notations as well. So as you can see here, the guys were really kind to write a lot of details about what you're looking at. So obviously you click on the location, car meta, long antenna, and it kind of gives you the location and stuff.
Apple is scolding us that we talk about New South Wales. Yes, New South Wales in Australia has yellow plates.
Yeah, yellow plates.
But this is the basic podcast.
Yeah, we can double down in a future episode. There's obviously a lot to cover. We've already been going for 2 hours, just to kind of give you an idea of how much information there is to go through. So as always, we're going to move over to a Geoguessr portion, where we're going to actually play the Oceania map. I think
local zone. No other countries come up because they have no official street view.
Yes. And Sim shared the locations in Discord. Thank you so much, Sim. Appreciate that. I'm going to load up Geoguessr. We're probably going to go for one round just because of how long podcast has been going already. But we'll see how quickly we work through it. Interesting. It's literally called Oceania by Lock, as you guys love me saying it. So just before we get started, I am going to nip to the pisser. Because otherwise I will be...
No worries.
Yeah, I'll be shaking my leg the entire time. So give me 2 secs and we'll get started.
Yeah, you should have started the game.
Podcast by ourselves, yeah.
You should have started the game though. Kind of dumb on his part, but whatever. Yeah, send some neeks in the chat, please.
One thing about Oceania, I mean, Australia is the main country, but Australia has 2 other territories that are not covered in. Australia and Oceania is a continent, so those are the Christmas and Cocos or Keeling Islands.
Yeah, maybe we should have talked about those.
We will cover them in the Asia episode.
Okay.
Because I think they don't come up on that map. Because they are
Oceania. Yeah.
Right, seeing a lot of
true.
Neeks,
It says the location's covered on the name of the map, so.
And those 2 tiny Australian islands, we let it slide for now. We'll come back to them in the Asia episode, or maybe 2 Asias, East Asia. And
probably, yeah, we'll probably do a Southeast or East Asia and a West Asia.
Probably.
Right, I'm back. Let's get this kicked off. Obviously, we'll give you guys around 30 seconds to make your guess. And then obviously we'll allow these pros to talk us through it. Right, here we go. Let's get started. I'm just going to move this up here. There we go. Yeah, give you about 30 seconds or so per area. This is more just...
I don't know about you. Yeah, I don't know about you, but this definitely looks like one of the pictures that we sent.
Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah.
But we don't see anything yet.
Some sort of little sign there.
Let's see.
There's your thing.
I mean, Australia can be deceiving, but...
Yeah, Australia can have some tricky locations, I must say. So.
But I think I'll still gonna participate.
Is this a horse or a large
dog? Yeah, let me participate as well. Not sure. Maybe a horse, yeah. Farm animal %.
Haven't paid attention to Australia. Radu, for God's sake, we did the whole first part of the podcast was Australia. Where were you? You'd have got this. You'd have 5K'd this otherwise, mate. I was busy writing.
I thought you were saying my name.
Oh, sorry. You're like, I was here. I was telling you. Sim's scared. I say everyone's nervous on the first guess after because it's like you're supposed to listen or lesson and then.
From the first guess afterwards, it's just easy cheesy.
I tell you what, the South America episode was tense because some of the locations were wild. Right, okay, so 3, 2, 1, completing the guesses. Well done, whatever that was meant to be, Kurt. Guys, what are we looking at? Where do you think we are, and why do you think we're there?
I would say this is either South Australia or Victoria. It's like that sort of area. We got the whitish sand and grassy, definitely. It's a little bit rolling hills, but not exactly. It's like kind of flat. So I'm not exactly sure if it's Victoria or South Australia, just somewhere in between there.
Yeah, me neither. I was a bit in between Victoria and Tasmania and took a big risk in the flatlands there.
Okay. I'll plonk it down here.
Yeah, sure.
Seems right in the middle-ish. Let's see how close we got. Not that close at all. Interesting. Right, let's see how you guys did. Let's move the scoreboard over.
Yeah,
Actually,
Very interesting. I think the rolling hills had to do with the mountains, I guess. As I said, the mountains can be deceivingly like not tall. Yeah.
This
I
was
don't know.
actually
It was a tough one.
everyone's favorite location, Murrurumbate with Kelowna
Yeah.
Killer.
The Victorian Mountains were to the south, and no, New South Wales was it? Interesting.
Yeah, I think the location was difficult because we were kind of on the road that was like kind of in a bit of a dip, so you couldn't see that much around you because of the kind of roll in the hills was.
Nothing.
So
Yeah.
not an easy location, but Left Hook picking up the most points with Millie coming in second and Jay Wall in third. Not bad points all round. We got 14th position. Um, again, big old country. Um, and yeah, not the easiest location, but it was Australia. So yeah, let's move on to the next location. The students are now the masters, are they, Kyle? Um, right, here we go. So guys, remember you've got about 30 seconds to a minute to make your guess. Here we are.
I think we've mastered the landscape.
Yeah, even I feel like I can talk about this one a little bit. But the actual location, maybe not so much. So I'll be interested to see what you guys have to say about that. Argentina, yep, thank you for that, Kurt. Spoiling the location for everyone.
Oh, Kurt, what an asshole.
RIP.
Hmm.
Bolly would be very upset. Yeah.
Broken Bollard.
Broken Bollard. Snapped straight in half. As a wild night. Not too much else to look at here. So I'll give you about 5 more seconds. Get your guesses in.
In that country, you could have a clue where you look at a bridge, and maybe the bridge has on the sides the shield color with the road. Yeah, it would have on the left side the blurred out yellow sign. Normally in that country, you would see the road number there in a certain color shield and the name of the bridge.
Interesting. Right. Well, I'm going to turn the guesses off. So, for me, so here's my what I've learnt this evening. It's New Zealand, and the reason it's New Zealand is because you've got the white and the red bollard, the yellow line with the white dash and the white on the outside, and then it looks and feels a little bit more cold. And a bit more greeny, that kind of thing. How much did I say that was correct and how much was bullshit?
That was spot on.
I learned something, thank God. Yeah, anything to add from your perspective? I mean, I can guess the country, but in terms of location, my head stops. So, for you, where would you begin to pinpoint this?
I have a feeling this is North Island. It is pretty boring looking, I wouldn't say. It's yeah, I don't know.
personally guessed South Island because yeah, it doesn't look really boring. You have those planted pine trees, and the mountains can be just across that one hill that you can't see
Yeah.
them.
Okay.
Sometimes telling apart South and North Island can
South
be
and
very
North is
difficult.
so
This
hard
is
if you don't
yeah.
get a really distinct picture. Yeah.
Well, where do you want me to go? Give me a location. Come on.
We
Go
can
wherever
hedge
you
near
want.
Wellington.
Welly Hedge.
No header.
I'll go for it. Wasn't too bad, and it was North. And the winner again,
Ooh, all right.
Left Hook,
Lefty again.
doing very, very well there. Mr. Speedrun of the Calzone variety coming in second. I think that's somebody called Dopey Doorknob. I can make this a little bit wider. Coming in third. RC came fourth, and Big Hedge Sunken came fifth. So, congratulations to Left Hook. 4,800, fantastic score. Yeah, I think that was pretty clear and good example of New Zealand there. Plenty of different things that we spoke about. Enough so that I was able to guess the correct country. A lot of people going south, but I think from what you were saying, there wasn't 90. Obviously, you were thinking more south. So really, if you clicked over here, not too much blame, or what? It is what it is. Obviously, not the easiest location.
No, I just thought the high mountains are behind the rolling hills, because that can also happen in the southern half of the southern island.
Thank you, Jay Wall, as well. For that.
Not the easiest country. I mean, if you know it, yes, but you know the country. But do you know really North and South Island if it's not distinct? That's the question.
Okay, interesting. Right, moving on. Okay, some interesting stuff straight off the bat. Yeah. Take your time, guys. About 30 seconds to a minute to have a guess. I'm trying to think. This is interesting. This feels like a fucking COD map or something.
I mean, now we talked about a few clues, or 2 clues here.
Yeah, this one should be gettable.
Okay. I'm rattling my brain. Where do I think this is? Interesting. And obviously, to just give you an idea of what's around it, some sort of land mass over there. Here's the sun.
I think people might get a 5K here. I think I might have done a 5K.
Okay.
We'll see.
5K-able.
It is definitely 5K-able.
Okay, we're going to start wrapping the guesses up. Give you guys about 15 seconds. Come on. Get them in. Zoom on the bike steering wheel. For fuck's sake.
Is the steering wheel on the left or right? How do we know?
Oh, Lord. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Right, there we go. Fuck. So to me, this is like is this like a military installation, or is it like a sewer plant? I don't really know. This is
Looks
like
a bunker.
This is a bunker here, isn't it? This is kind of like
World War II military facility turned into a sewer thing.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe. So I guess my heart would be saying something like maybe, I don't know, not Midway, but maybe something like Pitcairn or Guam or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. I really don't know on this one.
Yeah, look if there's an antenna visible.
Oh, you cheeky fuck. Look, there it is. Oh, I didn't even think about the fucking antenna. And you're right. It isn't actually, when you're not thinking about it, it isn't all that visible.
Yep.
And wait,
it can be very deceiving.
Wait, and the antenna was Guam, right?
Guam and Northern Mariana Islands.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And this one would probably be the North Mariana Islands?
Yes, because there's an island to the south, and there's no island south of Guam.
Exactly.
Right, yeah. Okay, that's cool. So
you can see land to the south. When the ocean is facing south, it's the Northern Marianas.
okay. I don't know where to actually click. Fuck it, I'm not going to spend ages here. Oh, I got close to the 5k. Close to the 5k. Who 5k'd it? That's what we want to know. Apple, RC, well done. 5Ks for both of you two.
4999. Fuck off.
Very well done.
Wow, how did? Yeah, that's so unlucky. You got a 499. Look at my guess.
Yeah, because no street is
Oh,
there,
come on!
actually, yeah.
Techers smashed 90 out the park on that one. I'll take it. Let's see how many people got the actual island then. So Hab, Kurt, Forek, Lefty, Sim, Malwoods, and Woofer as well. And we said the coverage wasn't here, was it?
Yeah, no coverage
No
on
coverage
that one.
there,
You checked.
So yeah, something to keep in mind. Obviously, that for a couple of extra points, obviously you're not losing out on much by guessing here, but to scrape a few extra points, that kind of coverage is quite important. And then obviously we had Scoobu, Slim, Calzone, and Millie picking up Guam, which was very fair guess. Yeah, Midway. Yeah, see, I probably would have gone. I don't know what I'd have gone without anyone else here.
What
But
was that? Johnston at all? It has no coverage as far as I know.
Okay, interesting to know. One for Pitcairn. There's Radu. There's Mark.
Cook Islands also don't have coverage.
And then Kyle went Vanuatu, which actually is not a crazy guess. So, yeah, interesting piece of information there. Actually, did give it away was the antenna, and then obviously combine that with some other factors. Really interesting round. Okay, moving on. Here we go then. We've got some lovely blue flowers to start. Vanuatu, whatever the fucking place is called. Jesus.
This is politics' green meta, green camera meta. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow, it's not huge amounts to go off in this location, as we're kind of.
Should be doable.
Yeah, it should be doable.
Okay.
There is something here that can be used.
We're on these kind of winding roads. We seem to be going downhill. Quite an interesting paint job on the vehicle. Looks quite, almost fluffy in a way. Yeah, interesting. Interesting to say the least. Yeah, not too much to take away from this. Here's the sky, I guess. Right, we're not going to spend ages here. So, give you guys, let's say 20 more seconds. So, get your guesses in. Start to get those guesses in. Where the effing hell are we? Right, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, guess is closed off. Right. Here's my guess without the intervention of the pros. We're on a trekker, right?
We are.
Which means we're in. Are we in Vanuatu? Vanuatu, whatever it's called. No.
No.
Okay, that would have been my guess. So come, talk me through it.
It's too red. It's too hilly for that coverage of Vanuatu.
Okay.
For me, it is Pitcairn Island because of the red soil, the lush vegetation, the steep mountains.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that all makes sense. And we're riding on the back of hopefully somebody who isn't a child abuser. And
I think all of the coverage in Pitcairn main island is done by quad.
Yeah. Sorry, just responding to someone quickly in chat. Here we go. Thank God for that. So you think it's Pitcairn, not necessarily Henderson Island?
Never, no.
Okay.
No,
It's
Henderson
too hilly,
only
it's
has
too
the
wet.
beach coverage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to drop it there. It's pretty close, but not a very big island, so you're bound to pick up some decent points. Heartbreaking. Couple of
No.
499s there for RC and Millie. Giovanni with a 97.
Looks like misplaced coverage.
Could easily
It's
be.
slightly off the road.
Yeah, potentially.
I just gonna hedge.
But well done.
I didn't hedge. I was trying to find the exact location, and I almost got it.
Yeah, Nighty, Malwood, Stodker, Apple, Kurt, Sim, Giovanni, Millie, and RC obviously picking that one up. I would have not gone there. Did anyone follow in my footsteps? Let me zoom out here. A couple did. Do you know what, boys? It's okay. So we've learned something there. Not quite. Thanks, Kyle. Not quite. The soil wasn't quite right. I guess the lushness of it as well. The flowers and stuff probably helped as well. Quite a few people went for Hawaii in that one as well.
I think that was the red soil matter.
Yeah.
But,
I
as
guess
far
just
as I
because it
know-
was a
Yep.
tracker, I think that's the only thing. And
Yeah, also it was not Generation 2 or something like that.
Okay.
It looked
I
like a
think it
Generation
was-
2 camera with tracker. So
I think it was Gen 3, but either way, yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Moving on. Next location. This is our last location. Something very different again. So yeah, guys, you've got about a minute or so to guess where this is. Scotland, brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Scotland.
There's the sun. Very coastal location.
This one's a tough one.
it is. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think this one might get quite a few people.
Interesting. Okay. Right, I think we've had a decent enough time, guys. So let's start getting those guesses in. Give you about 20 seconds or so. Get them in. Do it now, forever. Hold your peace. Damn, Ben can't wait to end stream. Fuck off, Calzone. Look, we're hard at work here, educating shit tier neeks like you. So you should be at our knees, thank you. Right, give you about 3 seconds. Check the sun again. All right, Giovanni. 3, 2, 1. Come on, I'm eater. Fine. I've not turned it. You can re-guess. Look, I'm going to move the mouse very slowly. Quick. You can change your guess. Oh my god. It's getting so close.
Go. Go.
There we go. Right. I don't know where we are. I was going to say something like... I was going to say Victoria area here, just kind of based on that first Canberra kind of guess we had, but That's my feeling.
In my mind, it's southern sun, that's northern hemisphere,
Okay.
as well as red soil that shines through the grass. Should be one southern coast of an island of Hawaii.
Yeah, I agree, Hawaii. I also think
Hawaii.
the road. Yeah, I think the road also. It's like that black asphalt that you would see in Hawaii.
There is a lot of
So,
black ass in Hawaii. Yeah, agreed. So what do you say? The South Island?
I went for Lanai, but I don't know.
Okay. God,
Yeah,
It's so.
I also went further north. I went for Maui, southern coast, but
if I fucking won this and beat everyone, oh no, I got beaten by the guy I was
okay.
slagging off. Fuck. Well, that's a Calzone. He got it. Congratulations. I, of course, didn't get it. I thought it was Australia. So Foreki did very, very well there. Nulla as well. Sim, Dogkurt, Marcus, 19RC, Lefty, and Axel all guessing Hawaii, which it was. Fascinating stuff, really. It was an island, Ted, unfortunately, but good.
it was Oceania.
Yeah, good off attempt there. How many people went down here? Quite a few, and I would have been with you, so no judgments there. So, yeah, I guess the sun coming into play there as being a decent starting factor to making the guess.
To be honest, not really, because the sea to the south made Hawaii more likely than Australia and New Zealand. It's just that it's small islands where probable coverage is near the coast is more likely than anywhere in Australia or New Zealand.
Okay, interesting. Sorry, Radu says interesting comments in the chat. So let's check out the overall scores. I think quite an for Oceania we got some interesting locations, but very varied. It wasn't all dumped in Australia and New Zealand as some of you might have thought it have been. I mean, obviously, I am the top scorer, but the real winner of tonight, obviously, is Dogkurt. Congratulations to yourself. Very, very good points there. Very, very close behind with Cimaroj, which is extremely impressive. So, congratulations to yourself. RC and Nighty up there as to be expected. Laftuk did very well with a 16k. Apple with a 15. Calzone with a 15. Forek with a 14. Good score, man. Millie doing it with a 13k. Kurt with a 13. Mal with the 11. Giovanni got the 8. Nolo with the 8. Marcus with the 8. Dopey Doorknob with the 7. But that was only after 2 guesses. So, yeah, pretty good. Kyle, not bad. 5,000. I'd like to think that, you wouldn't have got these scores otherwise. Radu, 4,000 points. We won't talk about that one too much. Well, congratulations, everyone. Well done. Don't patronise me. Sorry, Kyle. I saw the opportunity and I took it.
I think Dogkurt and Simraj are those who really listened to the podcast or took notes.
Very, very true.
And the other ones just have to rewatch it, apparently.
Very true. And the place you would re-watch the podcast on is my YouTube channel. That is linked in the chat, !YouTube. I have got a playlist called
Unsubscribe if you want.
Well, do you know, I got to 700 and then I've gone down to like 696 and then it's gone up and it's gone, yeah. So we've got the How to Cheat Geoguessr podcast playlist. So we've got...
Should we go through your liked videos as well?
Let's not do that.
Come on, Ben. You got it.
So as you can see, we've got an absolute metric ton of content in here, including obviously individual videos on how to guess certain locations, clickbait. You know, we've got plenty of that. The secret to Geoguessr's insane guesses. Who doesn't want to see that? Previous episodes where the guys are making their guesses, yeah, so on and so forth. Plenty of the South America stuff in there. So if you want to check out any of that stuff while you're supposed to be at work or school, or you know, enjoying a family meal, you know, watch it on your phone, on your lap, I don't blame you. It's all on there. I guess the other two Neeks, RC and IT, shout yourselves out. Where can the guys find you? I'm sure Sim has got the links to hand because I forgot again. I'm really sorry.
You can only find me on YouTube with YouTube user/90.
Wait, no, I didn't. Sorry, I put them. They're in the description for every video. So here's 90's YouTube channel.
But in a few days or a few weeks, I probably could start streaming. So just look me up on stream, on
nice. Twitch. And you can find me on YouTube as well. I'm trying to upload decent amount of content on there. And also on Twitch. Next week is Thanksgiving break, so I think I might try and stream at least once, maybe like twice or 3 times. I'll see it.
That'd be sick. Yeah, definitely. And both of these guys got really, really good content. Definitely worth checking out. RC and IT, both beasts at the game, as you know. I don't need to oversell them. These guys are really, really good. So yeah, appreciate yeah, another great episode. Another long one. Everyone was saying Oceania is going to be quick and easy. I think there was a ton to go over, and I think we made some ground.
As always.
I felt like I learned something. I hope you guys did as well. So I'll let you guys go. RC90, thank you very much for all your time and effort. Legends,
thank you, for the podcast.
Yep, thank you so much.
Hey, it's nothing without you two. So very much a team effort here from the How to Cheat at Geoguessr team. So I'll let you guys go as I end the stream. So I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, guys.
See ya.
Cheers. Right, well, I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, as always, a lot of fun. Spoiler for next podcast. It really depends. Honestly, it really depends because it's difficult to get guests and also get the information. So it probably won't be North America. Potentially Asia we're looking at. Potentially Asia. So we'll just have to see. But we'll let you guys as soon as we do. Yeah, thanks you for all the support. It is time to say goodbye. But we are going to go over to a fellow Geoguessr streamer who is a legend in and of himself. So make sure you go and say hello. Make sure you go and show the love. Share the beans. Appreciate all the follows, the subs, whatever it was tonight. Appreciate it. Bean boys. I love you. I'll see you on the next stream. We're going to have some Who Wants to Be a Millionaire soon. More Geoguessr. We got tea versus coffee. Team tea versus team coffee this Saturday. Geoguessr Showdown. Be there. Be square. All the rest of it. I love you. Good night.
Sunken City with a raid. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.